when you look into the ice, you have geology, you have remote sensing, physics, climate, you have the interaction with the ocean, sensors on ground, you have the difficulty of logistics, you have the field campaign, and all you do, it fits into something that is not only important for the field, it has impact on what is going to happen and what people are going to be perceiving, things like climate change, the importance of the Arctic, what's going to happen to Greenland in 10, 20 years, how much is this impacting the climate, how much is this impacting the ocean circulation, how much is impacting the sea level rise. So it is engaging. I'm from South Italy, but there is something that clicked to me, this fascination about this river of ice that is so powerful that can change landscapes. So we wanted to look at the birth and the death of the superglacial lakes. So we arrived there was snow on ground, and then we wanted to wait the formation, and then we waited for that, and then the lake drained. So we stayed for a month. If you think about Greenland, you don't think about fast pace. The landscape changes completely. You know, you go from this deep snow, white out, light-changing environment, we still have the night and the day, to a 24-hour daylight where the landscape starts to change into little blues and hues of turquoise because the water starts being hiding under the snow in these pockets. And then the small rivers start forming because the snow cannot hold the water anymore. And then the blue becomes deeper and deeper. And then the snow disappears and you have the dark of the ice, of these impurities coming up. And in a week, your landscape changes completely.
What is that for?
This is like for students who don't behave well. Yeah. So we cut the ice with this. This is what we call a spectrometer. It's used to measure the solar radiation at different bands. We point the instrument at the sky. Then we point the instrument at the surface we want to measure. Then we do the ratio of the incoming versus the outgoing solar radiation, and that gives us what's called the albedo, which is the reflecting power of the surface. So the higher the albedo, the brighter the surface, the less solar radiation is absorbed, and the darker, it's the opposite. The more, think about the white and the black shirt, and in the sun, you are much faster if you were in a black shirt, right? It goes into a backpack connected via Bluetooth, so you don't need to have a lot of cabling. These are batteries. There's a GPS, Bluetooth also, that sync the data with location, timing, and it stores everything on the computer. Whenever you go back, the first thing you do is you back up everything. You don't even go to the bathroom or eat, just back up. This is used by oceanographers to measure current speed at deep ocean. But bottom line, I wanted to use it, and I tried to use it for measuring the speed in the streams. So the idea is that, this is supposedly, you fill it with water so that it balances depending on the water density. Then you're programming and you start it here, and it will log all the data internally in a waterproof place, and it was supposed to be staying, with the current, and then this will tell you the flow rate. But this toy looks like nothing, but it's like $6,000. We got this in 2009. We need to remotely control it, and I crashed it several times here in Greenland and in Antarctica, and every time I recovered it, and it's still working. So I'm gonna say the brand, and it's Dragonfly. It's carbon fiber. It's very super light. You can, take off the landing gear, and then it fits in a case. It does not do very well with strong winds, but I'm planning to get a plane. I want to put a camera or eventually an infrared camera, an hyperspectral camera, to be able to compare the ground measurements and translate eventually the albedo into RGB images, so we can fly RGB and not carry an instrument so big around. We wanted to have ground observations to do calibration or validation. And of course, these lakes, as I know now very well, and we all know, they can drain very quickly. So I wanted something to measure depth and reflectance albedo on the lake. This is our remotely controlled boat, and it's called Viper 2. I found it, and the reason why I got this because it was the only one big enough to be able to carry the stuff I wanted to carry. We put a depth sonar that is usually used on the boats at the bottom. So we engineered the boat in a way that everything was run on the boat batteries, and it was collecting the data, and everything was synchronized on the boat through the microcomputer, including GPS location, boat depth, lake depth, and all the spectral data from the sensors. We tested in Central Park, so the cops almost arrested us. We always had it hooked up in case the battery died and we wanted to just pull it back.
How much does a carp fishing drone boat cost?
This one, $2,000. It really does happen happily at the end because everybody does a good job. So we got published results here, and now we have all the data sets we collected. Most of the stuff is openly available. All this is turned into a body of knowledge. It's something more than just a single paper. If you are a very strongly motivated, bright kid who wants to do good things, you don't have the barrier that you had 5 years ago concerning the data access, concerning the computational power, concerning the possibility of exchanging ideas with somebody to come out with new research. I know many folks, very young, at PhD level, who publish either in Nature or Science. And you think about all these things, you probably think they have the best job in the world. Hey, it's your chicken, it's not mine. There is a story about the chicken.